folks? It's time to kick it old school.
Welcome, everybody, to the Miles and Crawford Variety Hour.
This would be the third time that we've said that, just so you know where we're at.
We want to get it right for you guys, because it's like sex in your ear.
And I mean, we're kind of doing this thing where we might have jacked some stuff up by accident.
We pushed some buttons, and
shit's just fucked now, man.
Hopefully this sounds like really great. Like, wow, I think somebody professional. What if we just accidentally made the perfect storm?
I mean, that would be so fantastic. That would be awesome. Even though I don't think it's going to happen.
I think that if we depicted our podcast in a drawing, it would be a stick figure.
Stick figure with some green ass grass, right?
Yeah, right. Looking at the green ass grass on the other side.
I mean, it's something. So, this episode, we wanted to stay relevant, and we were going to do some stuff, and then, you know, I went on my travels, and while I was on my travels on my way to Tennessee, Charlottesville happened. I'm not really sure if there's anything that you can say right now that hasn't been said for the last 2 weeks about Charlottesville. I don't think there's
talked about a lot, but
it's
we
been
always
said.
Talk about racism.
That's kind of true. It's kind of
but we're always talking about equality for everybody, and racism is a big part of that.
Because you can't have equality for everybody if you have a bunch of racist, neo-Nazi fucking douchebags.
Very set ideology, and a lot of people don't fit into that, and their solution to that is kill them, you know, or...
But I don't even understand why that's the solution, because, first of all, like, is it about trying to keep some crazy heritage? Like, are they really trying to make everybody...
Are they like religious people who have never read the Bible? You know, like they've never actually read about the Confederacy.
There you go. There you go.
I forgot the cowbell.
You forgot the fucking trumpet.
Well, you know, I just could not get Trumpy to work. He's a little bent on one of his valves or whatever, and so air just comes out. So much like Trump, he
so much like that Cheeto in Chief
blows, but does
nothing.
Produces nothing.
Nothing.
You can blow as much as you want, and nothing comes out of it.
I mean, his latest Phoenix rally was something fucking else.
They're picking on me. You know, everybody, they're just picking on me.
Really, Trump the bully, and you're concerned about that shit. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Like, I guess I'm tired of being called a snowflake, but those people are offended by everything.
They're so offended by all things.
And then they're like, I can't believe you're offended that we're offended. And it's like, well...
You're still a douchebag, actually.
You know, like, safe spaces and...
They need something. I mean, we all have you guys not? I mean, if you haven't watched the latest video of the fucking Nazi crying because he's a bitch, I mean, you are a literal, you are literally a fucking bitch. Like, you got arrested, you had a warrant out for your arrest, and you cried. If you actually believed in the bullshit that you spew, you would have gladly walked down to that fucking fire station or police station or wherever the hell you want to walk to, and you would have turned yourself in. Not made some little video and cry, made everybody feel sorry for you. No one feels sorry for you, you're a fucking douchebag.
That's what you get for being an asshole.
Yes, that's exactly what you get for being a fucking asshole. And... they're mad because of the statues. That, by the way, the statues, for those of you who don't know, they're not real people. They're not real horses. They're not real gravestones. They're not. I mean, yes, there are markers that you'll see, like on the side of the highway where people were killed. But if, like, another car accidentally ran it over, you wouldn't, like, go out and kill the driver. And if it just got knocked over because, you know, it got knocked over, or if it got taken away because they were redoing the roads, that doesn't mean it's a marker where somebody died. It's not where the person's actually buried.
Right, it's a memorial.
It's a memorial. So we're taking away a memorial. Does that mean that the Civil War didn't happen? Does that mean the Confederacy never happened? Does that mean that your history? And I love it because I love the little posts going on Facebook. Is the Berlin Wall being taken down by a bunch of liberals? Well, like, that's... We took down the Berlin Wall. Have we forgotten about the Berlin Wall? No, we haven't. And if you have, it's because you never actually cared about it in the first place. Most of these people never even cared. And nothing to anybody out there. But seriously, you guys did not give enough shit about these Confederate statues for the last 40 fucking years.
Nobody.
We were all offended by them over the years, but we never really gave a fuck about them. And then we wanted
anything about them.
We never did. It bothered people.
We're just like, well... just ignored it, you know? And now it's like, no, you know what? That shouldn't be showcased and paraded around. And
Well, all that changed after the shooting in the church.
Yeah.
Once that whole situation happened, that's when and you know what? How do you feel about that? I mean, when the church and the shooting happened, and that kid was a serious, fucked up, fucking Nazi, piece of fucking shit. I'm making myself a gin and coke if anybody is wondering what that sound is. I'm not pissing while I'm standing here.
No, she's mixing.
It's 7:30 at night, and I
do what I want. Some grown ass woman.
Yeah, so don't judge me. And if you do, fuck off.
This is not the podcast for you. I'll judge you back, bitch.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'm doing right now. But I mean, the Confederacy was always a problem, and we always knew the Nazis were laying deep in the dirty fucking underbelly of America. Racism never went away. They just hid in the fucking corners, and we go to a church, we fucking kill some churchgoers, which I don't understand why more Christians were not upset about this, by the way, which they really should have. I mean, in all honesty, like that's you are walking into some very sacred ground at that point. You are doing something that's it's beyond burning an American flag, in my opinion. I'm not even a church person. Everybody knows how I feel about religion, but I'm not even a church person.
But you respect the right to congregate, worship as they want.
You walked in on that, and you killed them, and then that is when that was it. That was the final fucking straw.
That's when people started, you know what, we can't let this be at the forefront of our culture anymore.
Yeah.
When Obama was president, people hung up black dummies of him. You know what I mean? Like, it was...
Mm-hmm.
Actually, where I live, which I always bring up, when Trump got into office, there was a guy who hung white sheets from his house and in red, had spray painted, thank God, he's gone. And praise Jesus on the right side. He had two hanging down. They were huge, and they covered both sides of his house. Just, things like that. Like, wow.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Like, these people, Barack Obama, had he been George W. Bush, there would be like 16 new national monuments fucking named after him. I mean, in all honesty, they would be putting
he got handed a mess, and
he cleaned that shit up, and I'm sorry, but Trump is still fucking riding those coattails.
Yeah, and now things are taking a downturn. Like, the unemployment rate is up now. Stocks are going down.
Yep.
People don't have any faith in us, and so
I don't blame them. I want to give us any money.
Markets, things like that starting to take a toll. There's a lot of world leaders that don't have faith in Trump as a leader, so it's starting to affect.
There's a lot of Americans who don't have faith in Trump as a leader, and
people think that we're awful for not giving him a chance. Well, I did. I gave him a chance, and
look what's happened. I mean.
And he won't even denounce those people. He just kind of half-heartedly, like, lukewarm, like,
why would you...
There's bad people on both sides.
Okay, so let's put it out there. There is the Antifa. That is a group, and the Antifa is known to be violent. There are peaceful protesters. There are protesters that are going to the streets. There are those who are willing... there are the Nazis who are running people over because they're fucking assholes. Because that's how you bring out your guns. I mean, we brought some people. Even if Antifa was being violent in the aspect of like throwing rocks or doing whatever, that doesn't mean that you come out with a fucking car and you maul over 20 people and kill somebody over it. Like that's not a fair fight.
Everybody. That's not even 40 minutes from us.
Yep, and you don't just maul people over just because they don't believe what you believe. And that is what's the most upsetting about Charlottesville, is that at this point, not only have they taken their hoods off and marched into the streets with their fucking TG torches.
Like, it used to be a hidden thing. We talked about this a little bit. Like, they're out and proud.
But no, they're out and they're proud. And then we felt how we become a generation that has not learned from their history. It's not my generation or your, really, generations upon generations. Right. How have we not learned?
Generations that aren't even alive anymore.
Yeah, and this is not about, by the way, we didn't learn from our history because the monuments weren't there to fucking remind us. Right. Because why don't you all go to Mount Rushmore? I want you to name me all 4 presidents, and I want you to give me 10 good things about each of them. And you were not allowed to be a history major.
Right.
So you do that for me. And we've got a motherfucking Mount Rushmore. And you all go there and tell me 10 great things in all 4 of the president's names. Kudos to you.
We're supposed to be a union. And when those states defected, that was them leaving and saying we don't want to be part of what you're a part of.
Yeah.
To me, that's treason. You know?
Yeah.
You defected. And when you came back, they succeeded. Whatever.
Same death.
Yeah. And to me, I'm just like, why would you celebrate the fact that you, and still agree with that? Like, I get the part about rebelling against your government when you don't agree with their policy.
Our government is shit.
Wrong.
We know that.
That's great. I think that is a great thing to celebrate, the fact that we have that right. But celebrating it, I don't feel like a lot of people, that's what they're celebrating when they're showcasing this stuff.
No, I don't think that the Confederate flag, by the way, the Confederate flag that people are so hung up on is not the real Confederate flag that was actually made.
They're like ISIS fighters who claim to be Muslim.
Yeah.
You know, like they just use that as a
scapegoat.
As a scapegoat, or their forefront for their absolute racism. That obviously racism is taught, and I don't know if it's the advent of social media and the internet and us being able to really come out. And I brought this up, like, did we raise this generation or come about this attitude in society where we're like, you can be who you want to be.
Yeah.
It's okay to say what you want. Freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. And so all these people always existed. It's just that we have created a safe space for you to come on out and say, I hate niggers. You know?
It is, and that is
and
that.
Jews and fags and you know what I mean? Just outright racism and then to say, like, and I think they should all die. Like, I can't tolerate that.
No. And just sit there and say, well, you know, this is about, you know, weeding out the bad ones or whatever it is. I don't understand the mentality, because here's how I see it. I live on a long street, and there are several people who I have no problem waving to and talking to, and we bullshit on the streets and life is fine. And there are some of them that are fucking weird and creepy, and I know they're drunks, or I know their history, or they're fucking child predators, so I'm not going to speak to them. Now, I'm not going to the child predator's house that's like 3 blocks away. I'm not fucking setting that shit on fire and fucking beating his ass. Now, trust me, I would love to beat his ass and set his fucking house on fire, but I will not do it.
Right.
Because whatever, he might have served his time, maybe he didn't, but he lives where he lives. I can't do anything about it. You know, but if he was killed because he was a child molester, I would not assume that somebody would then create a monument out of him.
Right.
And if they did create a monument out of him, you're damn straight that I would go and I would fight my fucking tooth and nail, because I'm like, look, this dude is not a cool guy. Like, this guy has no reason to have thousands of dollars of our taxpayer money going into making a statue for a fucking child molester. I mean, what happened to shit? Who was that? Was it Penn State? The fucking coach, if I know that he was a fucking big ass molester.
Jerry Sandusky.
Yeah, Jerry Sandusky. There we are. Fucking Jerry Sandusky.
Have him stay over, and his wife knew, and she just didn't do anything about it.
So we took down Jerry Sandusky, and we
little boys.
And we had no problem with that. But we're offended because we want to take down statues of fucking people who encouraged for others to be hung because of the color of their skin. Like, what the fuck kind of priorities you have?
And maybe we do have this group out there, and they're just a minority that hasn't come to the forefront yet, but that fly the Union Jack and are like, we should be under British rule. You know, I don't like that we defected. You know what I mean?
Like, at this point,
because nobody celebrates that. They're all like, no, I'm American. But you want to celebrate defecting from the United States, which we actually originally defected from Britain. So, do you know what?
I see what you're saying.
You don't see anybody flying a Union Jack. Like, no, I wish that we still were under the Commonwealth. You know, British rule rocked.
Yeah, I mean, that would be it. That would be the Brits coming over here and pretty much annihilating every statue that we have, like, and being like, I'm British, and these are all.
To me, it's the same logic. It's like, but nobody celebrates where we came from originally.
Oh, no. I mean, we don't
defected from Britain to come on over.
Yeah, but we want to go ahead and we want to memorialize. We are literally wanting to wage a war over
think
something.
that we'll have another civil war, honestly.
I mean, I feel like it's really not that far off.
Obviously, like a lot of poll results and everything, we're completely divided, like almost 50-50 on everything. Whenever election results come out, polls, anything, I mean, it's just like 50-50. There's one part of the country who wants to live religious, drug-free, alcohol-free, teetotal, I think is what they call it, and then there's another country who we all just kind of want to live together, we're more free-minded, like, we're all a bunch of fucking long hairs.
Yeah.
Stupid hippies.
And then there's the other part of us, the little, like, apes down there that are a bunch of, like, I just want my white blood with my white skin and my white shirt and my white pants.
Most people go with the other side. They just live a little bit farther south than the right.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? And then there's the left. And it makes me nervous because I'm like, where should I be moving to so that when this happens, I'm with my kind?
Yeah. Well, I mean...
I'm heading west.
I mean, that's where I feel our best bet is. And I feel like... I feel like it's a really scary time right now because I think about all my friends that live in different states and I worry about them and I worry that, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be a dick, but for the guy who got stabbed, he was getting a milkshake and somebody thought he was a neo-Nazi and they stabbed him.
That's awful.
That's not okay, people.
No.
You cannot just assume. Stop assuming shit. Learn to meet somebody and find out what their views are. Now, if he is a neo-Nazi who's trying to fucking hang people, then go ahead and stab the shit out of him. Okay, I can't say that, but
people who are racist are just very ill-informed and they're stupid. They've never actually gotten to know other races. And, my mom dates somebody who lives in a predominantly black city.
Yeah.
And whenever they go anywhere, she's not racist. Unfortunately, she's with somebody who is. I guess that makes her just as complicit, but he's always making comments like, I bet you that's one, if he sees them with a cell phone, black people, if I didn't say that, I'll be like, I bet you that's one of those Obama phones, or just always making horrifying comments, and she's always like, that's the dumbest thing that you could possibly say. And she stopped fighting with him, and they're kind of at the end of the relationship and all that stuff, just because of how bad things have gotten. She's just, over the years, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse, and she just can't stand to be with somebody who thinks so ignorantly.
And that's just it. And if you are with somebody who's ignorant, then get rid of them.
You know what I'm saying? But so hateful. And the Catholic Church, they have a lot of charities, and they do a lot of nonprofit work. I mean, as far as outreach to the community, they run a lot of the food banks. They run a lot of the where you go to get your electric bill paid and turned back on.
Yeah.
They do quite a bit.
Some serious racists.
Well, they have some. The Holy Crusades weren't their best times either. But
no, not by any means.
I mean, they've got a little bit of a death, so I think that's why they, yeah, we messed up. I kind of dig their new pope. He's not so new anymore, but
I love the new pope, dude. He's great. He's so fantastic. Yep. I mean, I'm not saying there's not something wrong with him because there probably is that I haven't figured out yet. But I know, right? It's kind of like it's kind of like Princess Diana.
Oh, 20th. You know what?
I love Princess Diana, and I
watched the funeral too.
Dude,
I'm always
bawled.
into those whenever I see a news article about her, I never get tired of.
Nope, I don't. But I mean, here's somebody who didn't exactly have the greatest story ever. She wasn't the most perfect wife ever. There was a lot of things that were wrong with Princess Diana.
Normal.
But she was normal, and that's what I like about the Pope. Yeah. He's normal. Right. He gets that. Like, I still find it, I'm still to this day, like, flabbergasted about how Mother Teresa died 1 week and almost a week to the day after Princess Diana died. And they were really good friends. They were really, really good friends. And I was so sad. Like, I was so sad for both of those losses. And I, it's not that I knew them, but I'm like, wow. Well,
I just read
who the fuck do I have now? Like, I mean, seriously, who the fuck do I have? I don't have Mother Teresa.
We don't have a lot of world leaders, or and they're not leaders of countries or anything. I mean, but
the closest thing we have is fucking Angelina Jolie. I mean, is that? I know it's a sad statement, but
I think we have like we take Neil deGrasse Tyson. A lot of people like him. A lot of people want his opinion on just about anything because he's so intelligent and he's well spoken. So we do have some intelligent minds, but as far as charity and people who care about humanity itself, I mean, we really haven't had anybody emerge to the forefront.
Not the way that those women were doing it, and
yeah,
if you didn't read about like how Princess Diana and Mother Teresa would go out into the minefields with the children, because that's with all the wars that were going on in a lot of these countries, there was mines everywhere, and people would send out their children to mine hunts, and obviously children were dying and then all kinds of terrifying things, and they were trying.
Awful.
It is, but they went out there and they stood with them, and they walked with them, and they tried to get like they put themselves in such harm's way in order to show people how absolutely frightening. And who do we see doing that?
Yeah.
It's not because the mines are gone, by the way. The mines are still out there. They're still underneath the ground. They're still happening.
Well, my stance on that. We're all one world. We all share this planet, its resources, and its climate, and its weather, and everything that every other country affects the whole world. So I get tired of, the isolated. Everybody wants to just kind of fold in on themselves and go back. I just feel like there's a certain movement to take us back 100 years, and it's a strong force, and it's pushing, Let's go back 100 years and revert. And why? Are we on?
Are we trying to recreate history though? Like, are we trying to recreate it?
But you know what? It's like we're back in the 60s with North Korea, right? You know what I mean? And civil rights and all that. But we don't have any of those civil rights leaders that were around in the 60s, and those that still are alive that were fighting back then, like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, a lot of people who fought. They're in Congress and whatever. There are a lot of hippies in powerful positions, but where's the generation after them to continue that? Where's the younger hippie generation?
I think that the next, I'm not saying that Sean King is anywhere close to Martin Luther King or any of that, but I really enjoy what he's doing. I enjoy what he is standing for. I enjoy everything that man stands for. And there are some things that I can say that I agree with him on like a 75-80% level. There's about 20% of what he has to say that it's a bit too much, or it's a bit.
You can never agree with one person 100%.
Yeah. So I just don't want to be like, well, this.
That's the beauty of
but I do. I mean, he's definitely one of those up and coming, and the Women's March definitely brought out a lot of women's voices. But you're completely right on that, Crawford. Like there is nobody that's really leading the next riot, that's leading the next change, that's walking Selma. There is none of this that's really happening.
But also we're more like, as far as media, back in the 60s there was newspapers and TV and radio, and that was the only way to communicate, and get news out. And so now we have YouTube, podcasts, web series, and
get the fuck out of the garages and off your fucking basements and out of your offices and get to the streets.
And there's instead of there just being 5 or 6 strong voices, there's 100,000 medium voices all shouting the same message, across all of these social media or creative, I guess you would say, platforms.
And why aren't they working together?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like we all have the same mindset, but we're not doing anything.
We really aren't. We're so apathetic at this point.
But we care, so we really need to band together, in some way and become one voice,
But I think that the biggest problem is that, everybody wants to do the big things. They don't want to do all the small things. And it's the small things from town to town to town and county to county to county and state to state.
So let's talking about community.
Yeah,
it does take a village to raise a child. You should
does.
care about your neighbor.
And
not in a way like,
even if it's only like fucking 20 of you, at least there's 20 people that are.
And I'm not talking about reporting your neighbor to the health department because they got too much trash out back, or reporting to children's services because you notice that their kids play too late or are a little dirty on the knees.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that person's going through it. Take the time to just be like, hey, fellow human, doing okay, buddy? You need a Xanax, or can I help you out? Blowjob, no eye
I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand how we have. No, it's fine. I don't understand how we have gotten this way. I'm scared to just I'm scared to travel across seas because I don't want to be American. Like I don't right now. Like it's I'm proud-ish of my country, but I'm really not proud of what we're becoming.
My fellow Americans, I'm disappointed in you. I come to you begging you, please, let's get past this Neanderthal archaic thinking where anybody is better than anybody else. Let's just coexist. If somebody next to you, you don't exactly like what they're doing or whatever, but it's not harming you in any way, either move the fuck away or just ignore it because it's not bothering you. I mean, you know, I don't understand. Like, I don't like a lot of shit, but I'm just like, you know what? Him do him.
Yes, but and the same problem is that I think to some degree we have done that for also too long.
Yeah.
You had the racist neighbor and you had the racist family member and you've allowed, and that's the catch-22 of the whole game. Is that
it's like, well, when you give freedom of speech, and that's fine, but freedom of speech also includes, you know, as long as you're not harming others.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're not allowed to incite riots, things like that, and that's inciting riots, like saying, we don't like people of other races and they should die, or religions, you know, Jews, black people, Mexicans. I mean, all these different groups have different ideologies and whatever, and different rules and things, but they have the common theme of white people are supreme. And there's just no reason. I mean, there's just no...
We're really not. Like, no. We really are not.
I mean, but it's like we ignore world history, and it's like the world only started when America was founded. So the world is only a few hundred years old, everybody.
And America only started really after the Civil War. I mean,
that's the Rome civilization, the Egypt civilization. I mean, there have been great civilizations that have risen and fallen, risen and fallen, risen and fallen. You think that we're fucking special? We're not.
We're really not. And we know that America is not the only one that's going through this. I mean, it is.
The world.
I was listening to this really interesting thing about how the Samsung president was finally jailed.
Yes.
And but they're talking about how that company is ran by a family.
Yeah.
It is a complete old school, like, handed down now. And we all know that Samsung actually wasn't shit for a long time.
Samsung was good. Samsung.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that was Sega. Sorry, everybody. Wrong song.
I love Sega.
Good. That one better.
Ding, ding, with a little Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
So good. But that is one of those really old school, like, lines of heritage, raising the whole family work together, da-da-da. That's why he got into trouble, was because of all this shit that got pushed underneath the rug through his money, et cetera, et cetera. And so we know that we're not the only fuck country. I mean, there's. I mean, come on. We're still fighting over. You know, the Palestinians are still fighting over what land is theirs. I mean,
that is a century old. And
do we want to be them? I mean, the question is, do we really want to be them? Because that's what we're turning into right now.
My boyfriend,
nothing about the Palestinians, by the way, or the Israelis. I'm not taking a side either way. I'm really not.
You know, my boyfriend is really into conspiracies, and so one of the ones that he gets real nervous about is Israel and Palestine relations.
Yep.
Because in a lot of prophecies and things like that, like when shit starts falling apart with them, that's when shit's gonna hit the fan around the world, and he gets real nervous. You know what I mean? Like whenever he hears it, I'll bring it up to his attention. Like, did you read? You know, kind of like you're checking the weather. Like, should we? Is this bomb shelter time?
Is this time?
Head down to the Hopi Indian and see if they'll let us in. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's so chat about that. No.
And then that's just it. Like, there's so many other countries that we condemn for their violence, and we condemn war, and we condemn these other religions or these other countries for doing what they're doing. But we're doing the exact same thing in our country. We've just been doing it on a way lower scale. We're not bringing out.
Ignoring it.
We've been ignoring it.
And now there's body cams, and that's what I love about the internet. Like I said, is we have a much stronger voice now to say, no, this is really happening. This isn't exaggerated. This isn't people like, oh, well, he should have had his hands on the wheel, or the fact that the guy that ran those people over in Charlottesville, that's terrorism. That's fucking terrorism. But it's just murder because he's white. But if a brown person
of any race.
If a Muslim or a brown person of any race had ran into that crowd, that would have been terrorism. It would have been a Muslim.
Yeah.
Or somebody claiming to be a Muslim that ran into that crowd. That's terrorism. I'm not kidding because I'm serious. The exact same thing happened. Terrorism. Oh my God, terrorism. Oh, yeah, ISIS.
We need to go back to weapons of mass destruction and deeper fucking like surveillance on the American people. And that's just, and not only that, here's the biggest fuck you, by the way, to the American people was the new Justice Department gave the right for, who was it? Right when Trump became president, dream something, question mark, bad
You're talking
history.
about the immigration?
No, okay. I'm talking about, so all of us who went out there was all, how the fuck do we protest Trump? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The Justice Department is trying to subpoena the names of everybody.
No, they got the right as of yesterday. So
to get lists of people who protested at the
inauguration.
Yeah.
But yes, so now we have a Justice Department who is defining what they would see as a threat to the American people because we fucking hate our fucking president because he's a piece of fucking shit. You're a piece of shit. Resign, retire, go the fuck into your dementia home, do whatever.
But Mike Pence will be
president. Oh, Mike Pence is we're fucked underneath Pence.
We're just fucked for the next 4 years. It doesn't matter which way it goes at this point. We're just trying to survive the horrific ride that it's been.
It's been, dude. It hasn't even been a fucking year.
Yeah, and we're going into the 9th month here in a week.
Look what happened the last 9 months. Imagine if this first 9 months was Obama's presidency.
I've got wrinkles, man. Even my boobies are a little sad these days. They're starting to sag. Like, I got nothing to live for. I'm gonna be a little flower. Might as well hurry it up and sag on down. It looks like my titties know the what. Like, they do know the seasons. They get ready. They grow a little bit fur in the winter. I'm just joking. They don't. I don't want people to be like, ew, furry titties. You know what? They keep me warm. That's all.
We had to lighten the mood a little bit.
No, but seriously, furry titties. No. Sorry.
But no.
What are we talking about?
We were talking about the fucked up state of America. I mean, we really are in such a place that I'm disheartened. I am beyond appalled, and I can't explain the amount of like tears and anger. And Garrett, shout out to you. I know that you're going to start listening to these now that you're on your adventure to California.
Hey, Garrett. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy. We love you.
And our favorite fan, Jessica.
Yeah, hey, Jess.
Thank you for being so awesome.
Yeah, like preaching us up and like listening to all these. Binge us. Thanks, Jess. They're both, I love them both. Like, they're both like blonde hair little fucking gay people. I love them so much. You guys are just the greatest.
I love gay people.
I mean, we love the gays. And,
for most of the part. I guess you could call me a little bit of a fag hag. I love having gay friends, but actually I really only have a couple of gay male friends, and then I have a ton of lesbian friends. I collect them. I do.
Charms.
Right.
You guys keep us real.
It's like it's not even on purpose. It's just like I was looking at my Facebook the other day, and I'm like, I'm friends with a lot of lesbians. But I grew up with 5 brothers, and I always get along with men more than women. And most of the lesbians that I'm friends with tend to have a more masculine personality.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why, you know what I mean? Like, I tend to identify with more. So I guess, there's a little lesbian in me.
I mean, there's a little bit of lesbian in all of us. Let's just be real honest.
I think, what's interesting about the generation below us is they're much more fluid sexually.
Yep.
They'll swing back and forth.
They don't give two shits. And we don't care. Go do your thing.
That's an ancient type behavior, though. Like in Roman times, people were fucking each other. Homosexuality was a big deal. They're like, let's fuck each other in the ass stuff. But that was then that was cool. And then we had like the whole Holy Crusades, and people were like, listen.
Again, religion ruined all the cool shit, man.
Yeah. So, but sex has always been a very celebrated thing throughout our world history.
And I don't care who you have sex with. Just be safe. Use a condom. Get your STDs checked.
And
call it a good day, man.
Make sure it's consensual.
Make sure it's consensual, obviously. That's like point 1. Yeah. But anyways, as I was talking about...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Because before Garrett's like, why did you just mention my name like randomly?
Yeah, Garrett. Right. Sorry, we were going to get back to Garrett.
Anyways, I want to do a shout out to him because I got schlockered, okay? Like, I'm talking...
Oh, this is the friend. Huh?
This is... And I'm like 5 double Woodford and fucking Cokes, like...
You asked that weird question on Facebook. I was like, I tried to answer it, but...
What question did I ask on Facebook? God, I don't even remember.
I think it was something about conscience and guilt. Or, I don't...
Yeah, see, I don't remember that. So, either I was sober
like
and
in the morning and you had posted something and I replied back, like, and it was a question mark. I don't know. I think that
Might
we
have
could
been that.
solely post, like, have a page on our blog of just the Facebook stuff, like the comments and threads and stuff, because some of that shit is just wonky. That it turns into conversation.
It does.
I used to turn them into... me and 2 other female friends, the one that just bought a house not too far from you. I've had some really funny conversations with her on Facebook, and I turned one of them into a cartoon once.
That's awesome.
Like a little speech bubble.
Yeah.
Because I had to cut the conversation down because I couldn't fit it all, and it turned out, I'll send it to you, you can see it, but
I love
it turned out really funny because, it just, I was like, what if this were a cartoon strip? Because sometimes these conversations, the way they're timed, they're just fucking hilarious. It's like reading a cartoon strip without the graphic. I'm just a stick figure type girl, though. I mean, they weren't anything, it wasn't something for syndication or it was Cyanide and Happy style.
No, I love that. I love that cartoon.
Sorry.
But
anyways, I'm sorry,
Garrett. No, anyways, I'm just trying to give.
It's gonna be in the title. Racism, Garrett.
He's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Spent 10 minutes on poor Garrett.
Well,
anyways.
I was just trying to give credit to him. Because the other night, after the whole fucking shebang of, like, the world ending, in my opinion, and, the fucking Nazis and the shit, I got drunk. So drunk. And,
she gets to philosophize of what she drinks, everybody.
I do.
I get some great messages. I'll post those, too.
Those are great. And so, we do that whole, me, I'm a big Marco Polo fan. Yeah. So I'm on here and I'm just talking to him like, I just need someone safe to talk to, so if I die, I have to walk across the street, I'm gonna die, so you be the last person, not my husband, but you.
Whoops. That's what you get.
I end up going into some, like, ridiculous fucking long, like, tear-filled, snot running down my nose video about, like, what kind of world my kids are going to live in.
Did you ugly cry?
Oh my god. I ugly cried. Well, no, I started to be fine, and then I puked. But don't worry, I did not video me puking. I'm like, I just got done puking. So here's a story of Amanda being a hot fucking mess. And this is what I do. I like to be a hot mess.
Garrett talked you through it, did he?
He just... Yeah, pretty much. Was like,
you put you on autopilot. Yeah, man.
Well, Marco Polo's in whatever time, so he wasn't there. It was just like me knowing that I had somebody to fucking like bullshit to, and then like the next morning I'm like, dude, I am so sorry. I don't know how long that video was that I sent to you, but it was like don't hurt Britney Spears kind of like. Yeah, it was one of them kind of videos, but like really long.
I post those gifs all the time. The Confederate.
Anyways, thanks for listening to my embarrassing bullshit, Garrett. I love you and have safe travels to California.
Do you think he really listened to it though?
I mean, he actually like when he videoed probably that he's like, goddamn. But he did send some like reply videos back, like. For one, you need a goddamn tissue. Like, stop. Like, go blow your fucking nose. And
then I can't watch this because I'm getting a little sick. Oh, it's not coming out of your nose.
But he, like, legitimately, like, hit some notes. So I know that he listened to most of, like, the important keynotes.
I would have, too.
And I, like, but seriously, what was I even talking about? He's like, the atrocity of the world. I'm like, it is the atrocity of the world. It's
Did you transcribe that for me?
And to, like, actual, like, speak that's not drunken snot-filled Amanda who shouldn't be talking.
Filter. Like, this is a really good speech.
You all should not allow world events to happen while I'm planning on getting heavily intoxicated.
No, I mean, if people would just plan shit around my drinking,
it would be so great.
Then I could have a better time and also not snot crying through half of it. ugly cried through that shit.
I
Huh?
ugly cried. I mean, it was.
Just get text messages from you. Still, that's okay. Just Facebook messages. And I like them. I wake up reading them over my coffee. Like, I don't know, man. Something to think about now.
Imagine when I actually do get stoned. You should, like, when I actually get stoned, it's a whole nother ballgame of weird, man.
Well, I send you messages at 3:30.
Yeah, she does.
Like,
I just need to, okay, I will. I just need to quit drinking. I need to go back to smoking weed. Life will be so much better.
Puff, puff. What do you think about this theory? And then read it the next day, and I'm like, boy, that's some sci-fi shit there, Julia. I should write sci-fi, because I come up with some crazy, weird stuff.
You do. I mean, just smoke some really good ganja and call it a good day. Do we call it ganja still? Is that still like a thing? I'm so out.
Ganja, weed, grass, green. There's
Mary J.
Everybody, yeah. Every reefer.
Reefer madness.
That's what's going on right now. Don't stop the reefer.
I think that, like, why don't we smoke more weed?
You know what? We're going to, because medical marijuana just hit Ohio.
Oh my god, it's about time.
8 of my conditions fall into those categories, so
nice.
I'm just gonna get Medicaid to pay for them.
Thanks, Trump. Ah, you dirty bitch.
Paying for me to get a body high.
Yeah. I really do. I feel like
I'm actually really excited about medical marijuana. I heard there's a little town just over from us that got green light to be a growery or whatever.
Oh, thank the freaking Lord.
I'm really excited for cancer patients, epilepsy patients, soldiers suffering from PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
It has just a litany. And I'll tell you, it really helps with pain on a level that pills will never do for you. Yeah.
I just made a movement because it just dawned on me.
She had a little light bulb pop up above her head.
I literally made the motion, the light bulb. I think that Crawford would be fantastic at.
Blowjobs. Thank you.
Besides boob copters and blowjobs.
This is Julia coming to you live with boob copters. I wish I could do it. We should do a commercial break. We should. And now we have one other part from the boob copter because I'm pre-recording that since earlier. Anyway, sorry. Back to Garrett. That's gonna be a running joke now.
Sorry, Garrett. Love you.
We did 8 podcasts. Anyways, back to Garrett. Nobody's gonna get if they cut in after that. What's Garrett? What? We never talk.
Well, like, episode like 24. Dude, I need you to call me right now. Like, so people know that you're not a figment of my imagination. You are a true human being.
Like, there's just some guy that sits here and never let me get a word in his voice. I think he's the ant symbol, not sure. Alright, okay, back to Garrett, seriously.
Oh, that was so good.
That was good.
That was very good. I very much enjoyed that.
I don't know.
Okay, the light bulb. Oh, a job I think that you'd be excellent at.
Oh.
Okay, so there is a legitimate job where I forget what the fuck it's called. I will find it on NPR.
It's called glory holes. This guy's so sorry. To be serious. NPR is serious. Go ahead. What would I be good at? Taking subscriptions over the phone?
People who get too high. So, the problem is that people get too high, right? They get so fucked up they call 911 because they think...
I actually got lost on my way. Here's why I was like 10 away and I was actually 15 because I turned on to... I had to backtrack around. And then I was like, I'm not on 6 anymore, I'm on 37. So that's why I had to turn left, I had to go fish lock. Alright, it took me another 10 minutes to get here. I ended up down here at this stop sign, I had to come back up. I'm looking for your car. God damn it.
Damn it. Oh my god.
So anyway, they like to interview those people?
No,
I forget. Like, did you tell me yesterday? I have a short, I'll remember this in a month, but I don't remember anything that happened yesterday. It has to set in. My boss was like, why don't you quit me at a blonde? Or something like that. And I was just like,
that's a great idea.
That's not why That's not why I'm such an airhead, actually. Don't get me wrong, I don't smoke when I'm at work, but
who the fuck cares?
I fall asleep stoned. You know?
No, but the job is great. So people call 911 a lot. Like, a lot.
I'm too high.
They're too, well, or they just
lay on a cold floor, people, it'll pass.
The problem is that there are some people, like, you know, they start to hear things, or, you know, they're in their head, and they're all like...
Are you serious?
You like, you know, well, you know, like, if you're sitting in your house, and you're, like, paranoid stone, like, you smoke some, like, fucking weird weed, and you're like...
Oh, yeah, man, I start worrying about debt collectors.
You're like,
the
IRS are hot. So, the problem is that people are calling 911, and that's just not a good idea. Because now the fucking operator knows that you're stoned and you're fucked up, and then you got cops at your house when you're fucked up. This is all negatory experiences. So whether it be acid or pills or marijuana, the job is to just be like a volunteer on the lifeline.
Oh.
They just call you and they're like,
dude,
Crawford, you know, and you're like, okay, like you literally have to like just bring them back to reality. Just stay on the phone with them so the cops don't get called. So no one
always babysit people when they trip on acid.
But the great thing is like you can just be like, look, I'm real stoned too.
Right.
So like let's be stoned together.
Listen, let's go ahead and focus on this lamp.
Yeah.
Imagine. I collect ugly lamps, and so actually one of them broke the other day by accident. My boyfriend hates my ugly lamps.
Fuck you.
I had a set. Luckily, I have a backup in storage because I knew that was going to happen.
Nice.
So I didn't keep both of them in the house. I was like, I know this one's going to end up broke. But so rest in peace, lamp.
Rest in peace, lamp.
Ugly lamp.
Ugly, but you could convince a stoner to look at a lamp though. You could convince
hand jobs about ugly lamps at yard sales. But at one point I talked about it. I mean, for the right lamp, I do collect some very ugly ass lamps. If anybody wants to send me an ugly lamp or a picture of one where I could buy one, please do. Send those in. I fucking love. I'm talking truly ugly. Like that's atrocious. I've had like 3 broke. My boyfriend, like, yeah, he's like, that's too fucking. He hates the shit that I collect. I slow down on trash piles. You know, what's that? Especially when I know someone old died. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Time to go.
What you got in here?
What you got in here? What you got? What you got?
60s lamp.
Yeah.
Itching myself like I got a little crack in.
I got it. You know? I got it. So good.
But anyways, back to Garrett.
So great.
I'm not giving up on it.
All I'm saying is that you can find a really good job literally talking stoners from calling the cops.
How much does that pay?
I mean, it might be a volunteer effort. Yeah.
You know, I'm not really into giving without giving.
You just talked about like fucking blowjobs. Yeah. What do you get for the blowjobs you're giving?
Money in my little box next to it. Like a change acceptor. You know what I mean? I put a 5 in here. Because I think it's about the going rate for blowjob here. I'm not real sure. I live in a town that has 4 truck stops, and there's always cops like out there busting
hookers,
slot lizards. Hey,
some of them might be sexual survivors, so we definitely apologize. We're not making fun of you, but we're making fun of the old hags that really are lot lizards, and that's what they really enjoy doing.
You know.
Look at me, I'm staying PC. Like, isn't that? I mean, that's a thing.
I'm so proud of you that you're able to do that. That must be a wonderful thing to...
It's a terrible thing. It's fucking annoying. Yeah. Like, I literally wrote a whole entire blog about how I'm fucking annoyed by, like, how everything I'm doing right now is about being politically correct.
Yes.
I'm fucking annoyed by it. Like, if I don't look at you and smile, does that mean that I'm a racist? If I don't do this, does that mean that I'm a fucking, like, Trump? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, that mentality is, we have a dude who was stabbed for looking like a Nazi.
If we don't put our thoughts into action, is it just gonna keep getting worse? Probably.
Probably is. I gotta keep being like, hi.
You know?
Yeah.
What do they always say? Light conquers darkness, and good always kills evil and defeats evil. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Speak it, Socrates. Speak it.
Socrates. He was a great guy. He actually. No. I've tried to read.
I gave him a great blowjob one day.
up in heaven when I get to the pearly gates, because that's where I'm gonna end up. I know it already. God's gonna need me to keep him laughing. That's why he put me. That's why because I'm like very clumsy. I've almost died. I can't even tell. Like,
so many times.
My cats now, they're always trying to trip and kill me. I'm always I feel like I walk around with bubble wrap. I'm pretty sure that people think like I'm an abused spouse because I've always got bruises. I'm always fucked up. Like, That time I dropped an air conditioner out of my window.
Yeah.
I was holding onto it by the power cord, and it was still plugged in, and it was sparking. I'm like, okay, I either have to let this go and drop on my neighbor's car, or unplug this while still holding onto it. And so I was able to unplug it, and then I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, you can't see me, but I'm making the noise. You know, I'm like twisting that bitch up. But, and as I am, the power cords start to come like separate from the air conditioner. So I'm like, oh no. Seriously. I'm like halfway out this window. I finally get it. I get it back in the house. And my arms were all, it looked like someone had grabbed me. You know, like I was all fucked. Whoo, man. It looked like someone beat the shit out of me. And I was looking at it, I had a bruise. I don't remember. I'm see if I can show it. I don't have it, I guess. But I mean, look, I'm all fucked up.
She had a bruise. Now I've got one like right here that like is a thumbprint.
See, that's like somebody grabbed you by the
yeah, and I mean I probably did it to myself.
I wear long sleeves because I'm always fucked up when people are like, "Are you on heroin? Do I look thin?" Thank you. Yes, I have been watching my weight.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yay. By the way, back to the topic at hand.
Oh. Back to Garrett.
Back to Garrett. Don't be a racist, homo-hating piece of shit human being, and quit making all the rest of us feel bad for being alive, because...
Or arguing the point that we're giving them a platform while also... Listen, you wanted to read off this whole Facebook thread that...
Oh my god.
And it was ridiculous. We're not going to do it because I'll just get fucking mad again. I had to
it was a epic Facebook thread.
Eventually I was like, you're just an idiot. I'm tired of listening to you. I don't even know. It was a childish comment. I know it was. I didn't care. I was just like, I'm just so sick of it. Because it had to do with the rally that they're having here in Finley about racism. And basically he was saying that it's stupid, and I was like, no, it's not. I'm not tolerant to intolerance of other people existing. You know, like, they have the fucking right to exist just because they're different color.
Yeah.
And, you know, we shouldn't let them proliferate or organize or become mainstream, because that's not okay. That's not what American values are. And
agreed.
That's not, you know, if you want to feel that way, then move to where other people have that same mindset. Like, only white people are allowed here. I don't know where that is in the world. Do you?
No.
Is there a country or somewhere where those people can go? Or
I feel like that might be
like frowned upon all over the world.
Yeah, I feel like it's frowned upon about
I think that attitude about any race is kind of frowned upon. Like, you know, motherfucker, we're gonna tear your shit down.
Yeah.
And we're gonna infiltrate. We're all gonna mix together, whether you like it or not.
Get the fuck over it.
It's almost like God or whoever is trying to make us wear that T-shirt that says this is our get along shirt.
Yes.
He's trying to shove us all into that shirt and push us together.
He is.
You know?
Get along.
I'm tired of this shit. You all recycle this shit every 100 years. I try to take a nap. I wake up. Motherfuckers are just
rioting for no fucking reason.
Can't get together.
Yeah.
I told you, just fucking love.
I mean, it's not that fucking.
Take care of the earth.
Yeah, but no, we're gonna fucking demolish it. We're gonna be a bunch of racist assholes. You guys are not good, God-loving people, by the way, you piece of shit.
I'm just, you know what? I'm just angry.
Yeah, you should be.
Thank you for validating my anger. I needed somebody to see, just angry people. I want us to all get along and love each other and fucking celebrate our differences.
And fuck too. I mean, why not?
And fuck each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the bitches.
Personally, I love. I don't know how you say it. Neapolitan ice cream.
Ooh.
Did I get it?
Yes, you did. Okay. Trumpet.
Thank you. I'm so proud of myself for that one. I love different flavors personally. I mean,
there's no
back
judgment
to glory holes. No, you wouldn't believe I'll pop through those. No, I'm just joking. Like, what is this? Cuban?
I mean, let's just taste it and find out.
Right? That's the only way you're going to.
I mean, really.
Taste the rainbow, people.
Look, don't be angry because you're white, and so you hate everybody who isn't white to validate yourself. Don't hate the gays because you are gay and you can't come out of the closet. Like, just don't hate people. I'm not saying to be to come out and be proud, but we are.
Stop like being scared of other people. And
but most of all, like if you are like a Nazi and you're scared of coming out of the closet of being a Nazi, I mean, at the end of the day, I want you to stay in that. I want you to stay in the closet if you're a Nazi, but I know that at the end of the day that it's only festering into more hate, and that we pushed you far too long into the shadows, and now that you're rising up out of it, it is very frightening. But I want to let you know something. you're gonna fucking lose. Like, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. You are going to fucking lose, you pieces of shit.
There's so many of us that just want to move forward in this country and celebrate and just advance.
Have I called it a piece of shit enough in this podcast? I feel like I have.
Do I need to have like a clicker? Click, click.
Amanda now said that you're a piece of shit 49 times.
Our podcast is explicit now because I'm like, we do drop that F-bomb a little bit. I think you might fall under the explicit
No, it's safe for work.
No. You don't want your
unless her headphones are on.
Yeah, then we're good. That's what my friend Tracy does. She listens to us at work while she works and puts in her headphones. She's like the last one I listened to. I don't know. I think the one's about linguistics.
Oh, yeah?
Linguinis. She was like, yeah, I shook my head a few times. Like, oh, Crawford.
Oh, what are you doing?
Jeez. Going back to that Facebook thread, what was pissing me off was that I had seen him go on about, on another post about white privilege and how he's never experienced white privilege in his life. And he's always been economically depressed, and every black person he knows is doing way better than him. And then a few weeks ago, he was going on about Mexicans and how every Mexican he ever knew was a troublemaker. Like, he is a racist himself, and he doesn't want to admit it, and he wants to act like he's not, but he obviously is. Because if you take everything he says across Facebook and everywhere, and you put it all together, I don't think he realizes that you have a lot, when you have a lot of mutual friends or whatever.
Just because you have a black friend doesn't mean that you're not a racist.
Yeah, just because you have a token black friend.
Yeah, you don't. You don't get that. You don't get that right. You don't. Not being a racist means that you don't care. That you do not care that somebody who is black or somebody who is Mexican or somebody who is Asian
you don't acknowledge it.
Like, you don't even care they're doing better than you.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be making a tally score.
Yeah, that doesn't
the
race doesn't have anything to
do with the actual person. When you start looking at the actual person and stop referring to them by their skin tone, that's when you really are getting through it. It's not about race.
It's about economic status anymore.
Yeah.
So, if all the black people that you know are rich, it's because you don't have any black friends and you only know of the black rich people that live around you. That's the issue right there. There's plenty of black people that are at your economic status, but you only look at the ones that are doing better than you and say, they're all doing way better than me. Where's my white privilege? Well,
first of all, you had white privilege that was handed over to us for hundreds of years. They're not asking for us, and I don't care about the stupid meme when you read about the Black fucking Lives Matter movement that said that they wanted all the houses. They were making a point. If you really are going to sit there and proclaim that you don't have white privilege, then hand over the African-American person your house. They weren't saying that you should. It was a sarcastic, semi-sarcastic note that says, you just don't understand. You got to where you got because of your color. Right. And because of that. And that, I get it. You were poor, you grew up here, you grew up... I know a lot of different situations. I'm not saying that this one particular person hasn't been through the fucking ringer because they have. I'm not de-vilifying that. I'm saying that...
I think they're selective in how they see it.
Yeah. And
they ignore other things that they've seen in order to support their mindset.
Yep. And that's what it is.
A lot of people do that.
A lot of people do that. And I probably have done it a handful of times myself. But at the same time, you can't sit there and act like each one of us who are white have... Just because you're white and poor does not mean that you're still not better off than a black poor person.
Right. You still have a better chance of getting a job somewhere or whatever.
Exactly. You have a better chance at building yourself up. And now, well, I mean, I made some bad decisions. Okay, so, but again, a black person's bad decisions usually get them killed by the fucking cops. Or incarcerated for life, or fucking having a fucking joint on them while you got let go and a slap on the wrist and going to the rock for 3 days.
For a DUI.
Yeah. Did you have, how many white people do you see that are getting killed from their fucking 4-year-old kid because they have a concealed carry fucking shit on them? Like, you don't know.
Some ridiculousness. Here's something I like to try and explain to people when they talk about white privilege. Have you ever heard the term driving while black? DWB. Yep. Got caught DWB, driving while black?
Yep.
Here's what that feels like. Drive around without a tail light, with the tail light out. Drive around for a week. Don't change it. Don't fix it.
Nope.
With your license plate light out. any kind of vehicle malfunction that's a stoppable offense. And do it for a week. You will get pulled over the first time at night, because you have to have that light on. But whatever, have some violation on your car and watch how many times you get pulled over, because I have an electrical issue in my car, and by state law it's legal, right? My tail light's out, but my brake lights work, so they can't stop me for it because I have 3 working brake lights, but the tail light's out, so they'll follow me, like they do U-turns, and they will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have, but now I live in such a small town that don't bother me anymore because they know who I am. They followed me enough, all the way out to pick my boyfriend up, from work and back. But they can't stop me because I'm wearing my seatbelt. I'm doing the speed limit. I have 3 brake lights. Like when I brake, that's what matters.
Yep.
I have been followed hundreds of times over. It's been a year.
Yeah.
By state highway patrol, sheriffs, local police. I mean, they will follow on my ass until they make me so nerve wracked I do something so that they can pull me over.
Yep.
I did get pulled over a couple weeks ago, and he said that it was because I was he followed me initially because my taillight was out and I hadn't braked, and he said the reason why he pulled me over was because when I stopped at the stop signs, I was stopping at the stop sign with the hood of my car, the front of my car at the stop sign. I was supposed to stop at the white line.
Yep, 100 feet back.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I don't think that happened, but whatever. I knew you were following me, but I was like, okay, I'm sorry, you can't write me a ticket or whatever. And then he was like, and oh, by the way, do you know your tail light's out? And I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
But back to my point, driving while black, that's what it feels like to drive while you're black.
Yeah.
Is you're constantly, if a cop sees you and sees that you're a black person, whoop, follow you. That's what that feels
Waiting
like. So
for.
drive around with a vehicle malfunction for a week. Watch how many times you get pulled over. That's what it's like to be black.
Yep.
I'm not kidding. I complained about it on my Facebook, and then I deleted it because I realized how white privilegey. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, that sounds so fucking snotty to be like, I'm getting followed by the police all the time, and it's just unbelievable. Like, that, to me, like, that was a kind of a moment for me where I was like, well, that's what it's like. Like, damn, I felt like a target. Because my taillight was out, and it's like, well, that's what it's like to be black. You can't spray paint yourself white when you leave, and you shouldn't have to. Don't get me wrong, but to me,
it's a very sad world. So change your shit, America.
Why don't you
behave? Moral high ground. Be a good person. Don't be a douchebag, and don't be a fucking Nazi.
Just be wonderful to each other, and rainbows and kittens.
Rainbows and kittens, bitches.
Hug a human. Pay it forward.
Hang in there.
Karma, kindness, gentleness, compassion, sympathy.
And back to you, Garrett.
Yeah, and back to Garrett, who is going to be our number 2 listener right behind Jesse. Unless he binges us. Binge it, baby.
Binge it. Binge it hard.
All right, I think that's it for this episode.
Bye.